For in the ocean of data, we leverage the power of convergence to unleash the potential in explosive data. Facing complexity, we adapt with stability. We make data storage clean, sustainable, and reliable. Facing changes, we adjust with agility. We enable efficient and on-demand data storage management. Facing bottlenecks, we create unlimited potential. We build new types of storage to help discover miracle of lives. Facing opportunities, we thrive ecologies. We respond to future business surge with innovative technologies. We choose for never-ending exploration. Green. Accelerate. Innovate. Let's embrace a green and digital future. Huawei Ocean Store Data Storage. Convergence of all possibilities.
One person can only achieve so much. As individuals, isolated, our ambition has limited scope. But when we collaborate as a team, our power combines. Our strength is unbounded. Being open, it's in our DNA. Huawei fuses together industry scenarios and innovative ICT technologies, working in tandem with global customers and partners to accelerate digital transformation. Building up modern governance systems with city intelligent twins, delivering better services to people far and wide. Promoting the intelligent upgrade of the financial industry. Supported by agile business innovation. Designing comprehensive transportation systems that usher in convenient travel and smooth logistics. Driving the development of green, low carbon, safe, and efficient energy. Unleashing the digital potential of industries. Digitalization is now certain. Together, we stride into a wider world. Together, we accelerate digital transformation. Together, we create new value.
高43动拐次下升线，广州至上。
部位在哪里？你用手指给我看一下。
这个位置。
你把手放到仪器上，我们会把对应的数据监测传给刀的捏口。
Electrocardiograma que tiene una arritmia leve.
"老先生，您要记得定时复诊。"
Ocean is the starting point of all possibilities. It's where we came from. It's where we are heading for. In the ocean of data, we leverage the power of convergence to unleash the potential in explosive data. Facing complexity, we adapt with stability. We make data storage clean, sustainable, and reliable. Facing changes, we adjust with agility. We enable efficient and on-demand data storage management. Facing bottlenecks, we create unlimited potential. We build new types of storage to help discover miracle of lives. Facing opportunities, we thrive ecologies. We respond to future business surge with innovative technologies. We choose for never-ending exploration. Green. Accelerate. Innovate. Let's embrace a green and digital future. Huawei Ocean Store Data Storage. Convergence of all possibilities. Ocean is the starting point of all possibilities. It's where we came from. It's where we are heading for. In the ocean of data, we leverage the power of convergence to unleash the potential in explosive data. Facing complexity, We adapt with stability. We make data storage clean, sustainable, and reliable. Facing changes, we adjust with agility. We enable efficient and on-demand data storage management. Facing bottlenecks, we create unlimited potential. We build new types of storage to help discover miracle of lives. Facing opportunities, we thrive ecologies. We respond to future business surge with innovative technologies. We choose for never-ending exploration. Green. Accelerate. Innovate. Let's embrace a green and digital future. Huawei Ocean Store Data Storage. Convergence of all possibilities.
One person can only achieve so much. As individuals, isolated, our ambition has limited scope. But when we collaborate as a team, our power combines. Our strength is unbounded. Being open, it's in our DNA. Huawei fuses together industry scenarios and innovative ICT technologies, working in tandem with global customers and partners to accelerate digital transformation. Building up modern governance systems with city intelligent twins, delivering better services to people far and wide. Promoting the intelligent upgrade of the financial industry. Designing comprehensive transportation systems that usher in convenient travel and smooth logistics. Driving the development of green, low-carbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Huawei Innovative Data Infrastructure Forum 2023 will now begin. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. New data, new apps, new resilience. Welcome to Huawei Innovative Data Infrastructure Forum 2023. Thank you for joining us in Munich. Firstly, let's invite Mr. Jim Liu, President of European Region, Senior Vice President of Huawei, to the stage to give a welcome speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to Huawei IDI Forum in Munich. I'm very glad to be back to Europe again after 7 years. Today, I would like to discuss with you how to enable green and digital transition using innovative data infrastructure. In 2022, although there were many external challenges, Huawei remained focused and fully supporting our customers with the best product and best services. Huawei's overall operation was robust and our ICT business maintained stable growth. At the same time, Huawei maintained strong investment in R&D. In last year, Huawei's R&D investment accounted for more than $23 billion. It's nearly 25% of our annual revenue, maybe which is probably the highest in the entire industry. Through R&D and innovation, Huawei continues to build a green, simplified, and intelligent ICT infrastructure platform to help digitalize all industries. Huawei has been in Europe for 23 years. We have always been committed to be in Europe for Europe. According to a study by Copenhagen Economics, Huawei contributed 12.3 billion euros to the European economy in 2021 and supported more than 140,000 jobs in Europe. In addition, Huawei has been recognized as a top employer for 3 years in a row. Europe is very forward-thinking. It has identified green and digital twin transition as a core strategy and has set specific goals for combined natural and digital transformation. Huawei's vision is very closely aligned with Europeans' strategy. We continue to work with customers and partners to achieve green and digital transformation in Europe. In Europe, we worked closely with our partners to innovate and provide customers with a green, secure, efficient, and reliable digital infrastructure. Currently, Huawei has established partnership with more than 5,000 partners. In our 3 open labs in Europe, we work with over 100 solution partners on joint innovations. Through this partnership, Huawei provides scenario-specific and innovative products for customers from the industries like education, retail, and logistics to enable digital transformation. In the future, Huawei will continue to develop, cultivate, motivate, and support our partners. The customers in some industries have higher requirements for digitalization. For these customers, we work with our partners to provide scenario-based solutions and explore how to create new industry value for them. For the commercial market, we will enable industry digitalization and help small and middle-sized enterprises accelerate digital transformation. Huawei firmly believes that ICT technology can contribute to sustainable development and build a greener world. On one hand, we use ICT technology innovations to increase energy efficiency and reduce emissions in various industries. On the other hand, Huawei is also using technologies to fight climate change. In a national park in Austria, for example, we use innovative technologies to study the impact of climate change and protect nature and wildlife. Data storage is the core product of Huawei ICT services and a key component of digital infrastructure. Our theme of today's forum is new data, new applications, new resilience. We are here to discuss how to innovate data infrastructure so that data can be stored, moved, and used effectively in order to provide customers with a high-performance, reliable, secure, and green data storage base. Together, let's create a greener and digital future for the world. Once again, I would like to extend my greatest thanks to all of you and hope you enjoy today's forum. Hope you have a good trip in Munich. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jim Liu, for your enthusiastic speech. Next, let's invite Mr. Yang Chaobin, Board Member, President of ICT Products and Solutions of Huawei, to give a speech entitled Elevating Global Digital Productivity with Innovative Data Infrastructure.
Dear customers, partners, and media friends, good morning. Welcome to the Huawei Innovative Data Infrastructure Forum. In March, we released our annual report, which showed our overall business performance was in line with our expectations. Here, I would like to thank you all for your support. Our revenue reached more than $92 billion. The main source of Huawei's growth comes from the enterprise business. The revenue reached $19 billion, with an increase of 30%, thanks to the new opportunities of digital transformation. Huawei will continue to innovate IT infrastructure to meet the digital transformation requirements of global customers. Digital transformation is happening all around the world, and the requirement is so diversified and fast developed. With Huawei's extension service across over 130 countries, we are integrating these diverse customer requirements into our digital infrastructure innovations. In China, mobile payment, online shopping, and precision marketing are well developed, serving billions of people, spanning thousands of kilometers. The applications are processed in different types of data centers, such as cloud, hyperscale, and edge data centers, which need infrastructure with large capacity, elastic scalability, and cross-domain collaboration capabilities. In Europe, advanced manufacturing is leading the world, particularly in vehicle, machines, chemicals, and medicine. Digital technologies improve traditional industry efficiency, producing hundreds of millions of goods every year, which need infrastructure with higher reliability and performance. In Middle East, oil and gas exploration and mining require accurate analysis of hundreds types of data, which need infrastructure with more powerful data ingestion, storage, sharing, and analysis capabilities. Furthermore, the goals of green and operational resilience are considered crucial. Huawei has been leading network infrastructure products and solutions, and also invests heavily in IT infrastructure. We will explore technologies to innovate IT infrastructure with major efforts on physical layer breakthroughs, diversified computing, and multi-dimension collaborations, as well as the new capabilities like cognitive intelligence, intrinsic security, green, and integrated computing. In computing field, we will further carry out systematic innovation. We will implement the data center as a compute model through decentralized peer-to-peer computing, cluster-based hardware, converged software for diversified computing, and new computing paradigms for collaborative applications to greatly improve computing efficiency. In the storage field, we will continuously innovate products and solutions to provide best performance, capacity, reliability, resilience, green, and cloud-oriented storage. First, we aim to utilize more storage media, such as memory, flash, and new Blu-ray media, to ensure high performance, large capacity, and green storage. Second, we will promote the composable architecture for storage. In this architecture, the storage media and diversified computing power are directly interconnected without CPU as a bridge, which greatly improves performance and reduces latency, and meets the real-time requirements of the emerging applications, such as big data and AI. It is a shift from CPU-centric to data-centric architecture. Third, we will improve data resilience of our data storage. We offer disaster recovery solutions against natural disasters, and also offer cyber recovery solutions against ransomware to provide multi-layer data protection. Last, multi-cloud is the new normal. We will deliver excellent capabilities of contained storage solution for application cloudification, and our data sharing and tiering for cross-cloud mobility to build the best-in-class multi-cloud IT architecture in the industry. In face of digitalization trends, we will continue to work with the global industry and ecosystem partners to innovate data storage for new data, new application, and new resilience, to promote the development of the digital economy, and to accelerate the journey towards an intelligent world. Finally, I look forward to your full participation and wish this forum a complete success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yang Xiaobin. Now, let's invite Professor Joseph Sifakis, who is a Turing Laureate and Emeritus Research Director of Verimac Laboratory, to give a speech about trustworthy AI systems.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm very glad to give this talk on trustworthy AI systems. And let me start by saying that there is currently a great confusion about what intelligence is and what is the path to follow to go from weak AI we have today to artificial general AI. Today we have just elements to build intelligent systems, but we don't have the principles and the techniques to build complex intelligent systems, and this is what I'm going to explain. We need a transition from weak AI to artificial general intelligence, and this will be marked by the convergence between AI and ICT. And you know probably that AI and ICT have been evolving independently for decades, and now we need to bridge the gap between model-based ICT and the data-driven AI, and the issue of trustworthiness is very, very important. And to bridge this gap, we need to apply AI advances to ICT, in particular to be able to build autonomous systems, and also ICT advances should allow AI to meet growing storage and computing demand. This is something very, very important. So autonomous systems emerge from the need to further automate processes and replace humans by machines, in fact. So to move from automated systems to general intelligence systems. And this requires, as I said, linking AI to ICT. And also it should be emphasized that autonomous systems support the paradigm of intelligent systems that goes far beyond the machine learning systems we have today. Now, this is an outline of my talk. I will explain autonomous systems, can we trust AI systems, and talk about the future. To start, I will say that an autonomous system is a system very different from automated systems. I've been working on autonomous cars for years. So here I show the architecture of an autopilot that continuously interacts with an external environment. You can understand this. You have sensors and actuators, and you need to achieve situation awareness here. Oh, it does not show. Okay, so situation awareness means perception and reflection. You have frames that arrive, perception usually implemented by using a neural network. You analyze the frames, you find the obstacles around the car, and then you send this information about the obstacles, their kinematic attributes, to a reflection function that will build a model of the external environment, based on which you will make decisions. And making decisions means two things, that you manage goals, and for each goal you have planners that will generate commands. So it should be understood that for autonomous systems you have to deal with many different goals, more than 15 goals, for instance, for self-driving cars, short-term goals, longer-term goals. And typically, for instance, you have short-term goals, avoid collision, keep the car on a trajectory. Long-term goals, I'm here, I'm driving to a destination. This regarding the reactive behavior of the system, and you have also proactive behavior based on knowledge management, and this is something very, very important for autonomous systems. You see here I have a knowledge repository where I have pre-stored knowledge and the self-learning component that analyzes the information flow and continuously updates the knowledge repository. Why this is important? Because you have to detect, for instance, to make better predictions and better decisions based on the use of knowledge. Just to give you an example, if I have in a self-driving car a truck ahead of me, and I recognize the type of truck, and I have stored its properties, maximal speed, maximal acceleration, I can make better predictions. Or the self-learning system can estimate parameters that are used by decision-making. So this is a vision, and I should emphasize that we don't know how to implement this vision. These are ideas I have published 6 years ago. We don't know how to implement these ideas because of complexity issues. You have complexity of perception, for instance. You have environments that may be ambiguous, may be vague. You have complexity from uncertainty of the environment because of non-predictability. You can have rare events, critical events, failures, and attacks. And you have, of course, complexity issues for decision. This is a very hard problem because you have many goals running in parallel, and if you want to change a goal, then you have this change should be consistent with all the other goals you are pursuing. What should be emphasized also is that if now I have just a platform, for instance, for a self-driving car, this should be integrated in a complex electromechanical environment. This is not a simple problem. And also, autonomous agents should collaborate with humans. And we know from the problems encountered in the autonomous car industry, this is not a simple problem. This is not a human-machine interaction problem simply. And then once you have many agents, they should collaborate to achieve some global behavior. For instance, if you have many self-driving cars, they should, so the agents should be adequately coordinated. The coordination should not impede the achievement of individual goals, and also you should have some synergy, some collaboration to achieve global goals, what we call collective intelligence. So just to say that there are a lot of complexity issues, and let me explain where we are today. So today we know how to build automated systems. We have very good development methodologies that are model-based, but these methodologies are defeated by the complexity of autonomous systems. And another way that is taken by some big tech companies like NVIDIA and Waymo is to develop end-to-end machine learning solutions. As you see here, you have a huge neural network, you train it, you send frames, and you compute steering angle, acceleration, deceleration signals. So such platforms exist, you may buy them, but I would not advise that you use them just because of reliability issues that you can have. And also there are other problems. We don't know how to integrate in electromechanical environments, so because the existing techniques do not scale up. I think that for the future, to finish about autonomous systems, we should strive to develop hybrid techniques where we take the best from each, and so we can have model-based components for decision-making and data-driven components for perception, for instance, and of course there are a lot of problems to be solved yet. Then let me talk about trust in AI systems, because this is becoming a very, very hot topic today. And to start, I would like to explain that humans and machines use different types of knowledge. Probably you know that our thinking combines two systems, fast thinking and slow thinking. Fast thinking that is non-conscious and effortless. This is the kind of thinking we use to produce any kind of empirical knowledge. When I speak, for instance, when I walk, my brain solves very hard problems, we don't know how. And then slow thinking is conscious thinking, controlled, effortful thinking, and this is the kind of thinking you use when you program, for instance, when you solve a problem. And there is a very striking analogy between these two systems of thinking and the types of computers we have today. We have conventional computers that we program using System 2, and we understand what the computers can do, and we can analyze this. And then you have neural networks that generate empirical knowledge, that is data-based knowledge, and we don't understand how they work. And this is a very important issue, because they know how to distinguish cats from dogs, as children do, but we don't understand why. And let me further explain this. When you are a system engineer, you deal with different types of knowledge. The blue area is non-empirical knowledge that comes from mathematics, from reasoning, and below you have knowledge, empirical knowledge about the world. So you have very simple knowledge about, for instance, events and conditions. Today the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, for instance. And then you have a common empirical knowledge, the knowledge of System 1, and machine learning provides this type of knowledge. Here you have predictability, but you don't understand how this is achieved. And this is a problem. And then scientific and technical knowledge that we use to build artifacts today is knowledge that we trust. Why we trust? Because we have theories that explain. So if you build a bridge, you understand why it will not collapse for centuries, okay? So there is a big difference, and this is a very important issue in systems engineering today if you want to use machine learning techniques. And to further explain this, just to show that when you produce scientific knowledge and machine learning generating knowledge, you use similar processes. You have an experimental step, a learning step, and an explanation step. Here I'm considering a famous experiment in physics. So Galileo did experiments. He remarked the proportionality between force and acceleration and formulated the famous law. But any engineering process involves these three steps. Now, if you want to build a neural network that will separate images of cats and dogs, you will have an experimental step. This is a very important step. You take the images and you have a person that will label the images, and based on this labeling, you will train the neural network. And hopefully it will be able to distinguish between cats and dogs. But the question is, how it works, and we have no clue about that. We have no theory, and this is an important question. Now, the important discussion today, we have discussion about ChatGPT, whether we should trust AI systems, etc., is a technical problem, is the problem of validation of system properties. How we can validate system properties? There are, in fact, two approaches that I show here. One approach is by verification and reasoning, and the other is by testing, that is empirical approach. The approach by verification and reason is that I have a model of my system, I can analyze the model, I can see all the possible states, all the possible configurations, I can reason about that. So in classical systems engineering, verification plays a very, very important role. And thanks to verification techniques, we can guarantee some very important properties. I have worked with aircraft, for instance, systems, and you can guarantee the safety of the systems. Why? Because you can analyze the properties of the states, and you can guarantee this. And for neural networks, we cannot apply verification techniques. So what we can apply? We can apply test methods, and if you apply tests, you are doing experiments, you are applying inputs, you observe the behavior, and you decide about, okay. So first of all, you are limited in the type of properties you observe, and then, of course, you cannot have strong guarantees. So, for instance, typically, safety and security can only be falsified. What are the implications of this in systems engineering today? Very serious implications. You see, for instance, here you see Waymo. They claim that their system is safe because they have driven 10 billion autonomous miles. This requires very complex simulators, a lot of computing power, and this is not enough. This is not enough, because if you apply statistics-based criteria, you see that this is not enough. And this is not enough also because current simulators are not realistic enough, and they have performance problems. So I believe that validation of system properties, of intelligent system properties, will become a very, very important issue in the future, and we will need, in particular, massive data and a lot of computing power to do that. Now, to conclude, I would like to discuss two slides about the future. And the first is that this idea of the marriage between computing and AI. And I'm not talking now about ChatGPT and things like that. I'm talking about systems that will generate knowledge. You know that humans are restricted by what psychologists call cognitive complexity. Cognitive complexity means that we cannot understand the relations that involve many parameters. And systems are not limited by that. And because we are limited in this respect, all the scientific theories we have involve a small number of independent parameters. And so when you try to explain economic phenomena, complex systems, you do some unrealistic simplification. So what's my vision for that? I think that in the future we will develop what I call neural oracle. What is a neural oracle? It's not ChatGPT. It's a huge neural network that you train to predict complex phenomena. I know an interesting project, for instance, on predicting earthquakes, and the published results are really impressive. They predict better than approaches that rely on scientific theories. And then, of course, we will have complex simulated systems, intelligent digital twins. This will become something very, very important. Simulation will be of increasing importance in the future. What this means practically? This means that we will have a new kind of science where it will be possible to predict without guarantees. So, I mean, this involves some risks, but I don't want to discuss this. Also, this means that we will require large-scale AI workloads. It's estimated that by 2027, 20% of the Ethernet switch ports will be dedicated to AI. So, should take into account this. And of course, there are other issues that knowledge production is no longer a privilege of humans. We should think about that. So I have some time left, so I'll take the time to comment my last slide. This is something that will become very important because in the future, we will be, in any artifact, you will have AI. So it's not about AI systems that interact with the user. You would like to have AI in any artifact, in any system, and increased degree of autonomy. Now, today, systems engineering is disrupted by trends because big companies, economic interests, and technical needs push for intelligent systems. So we have some trends, like, for instance, adopting end-to-end machine learning-enabled techniques, and this is a problem because of limited trustworthiness. In some countries, they allow self-certification. Self-certification means that you don't have independent institutions to certify the systems, but in the United States, for instance, for self-driving cars, the manufacturer will guarantee the safety of the system. And then also they allow, for instance, regular updates of critical software. We know this, and this is against standard practices. For the future, I see three important directions. One is hybrid design, how to integrate AI components in systems. And this means that we need to build trusted systems from non-reliable components that will be AI components. And this raises some non-trivial problems. There is some theory about how to do that. Then system validation will become very, very important. I explained that we cannot apply verification techniques, so we will apply intensive testing and statistical techniques, and this will need a lot of computing power, a lot of data that are semantically rich, not just data, okay? And this is a challenge. And then this idea of AI oracles to assist the people to make decisions, but also AI oracles that we will integrate in complex autonomous systems for runtime assurance. This is a very important idea in systems engineering. No redundancy, but monitoring. Monitoring will become very important. So it's time to conclude. I went faster, in fact, than I had initially estimated. So I think that this marriage of ICT and AI is something very important. Autonomous systems is an important step in our way to artificial general intelligence. And of course, this transition will not be progressive. And we know, we learned the lesson from autonomous cars that it will not be progressive. To reach full autonomy, this will need some time. And of course, we will need to develop a new scientific and engineering foundation. And on this, I would like to thank you for your attention. And of course, if you have questions, I will be around. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zoufakis, for your thought-provoking speech. Now I would like to invite Dr. Peter Zhou, President of Huawei IT product line, sharing the topic entitled New Apps, New Data, New Resilience, Continuous Evolution of Data Storage.
Good morning, everyone. This is Peter from Huawei. I'm quite happy to be here to share Huawei's view on data storage industry. Today, the whole data infrastructure industry has facing three big challenges and big changes. The first one is more new applications. Today, more than 50% of the enterprise start to adopt AI applications in their production and decision-making systems. And also, more and more cloud-native applications moving down from public cloud to on-premise data center. On the other hand, big amount of unstructured data got generated every year. We need a cost-effective solution to facilitate those data, and particularly to have more value from those data as well. And then last, the new resilience becomes urgent for everyone. Today, every year, the ransomware variants basically doubled every year. And also every year, 14% of the data stored got permanently damaged. Really, we need more innovative technology, particularly the whole data storage industry need more innovative technology and products to reach those requirements. First of all, new applications, we believe, need a new data paradigm. Use autonomous driving training as an example. In that progress, different type of data join the training progress to have the good results. We need the data storage to facilitate different type of data rather than trimming that kind of system. To make the whole system using those diversified data running in parallel to improve the efficiency. On the other hand, AI big model, there's data storage system within AI big model, that kind of architecture. The data storage should not simply provide traditional data protocol to the AI model that will really improve the complexity. The data storage has to set up new data paradigm and then to make AI big model much, much easier with higher efficiency. We have a lot of examples using Huawei data storage to simplify the whole progress and to improve the efficiency in scientific research and also in autonomous car training, that kind of industry. On the other hand, we also need data storage to accommodate more and more cloud-native applications. As I said, today, a lot of new applications is generated in public cloud and moving down to on-premise data center. The traditional data infrastructure without container, that kind of technology, really cannot accommodate those kind of applications. So we need data storage to fully support container, that kind of ecosystem, to make sure the system can afford the new applications. Today, more than 80 NA customers globally start to choose Huawei container data storage. Yes, today we have more and more unstructured data generated every year. For example, in hospital, in university, and also in other industries, every day and every year. Unstructured data start to become decision-making and also start to join production, that kind of progress, which means the scale-out storage really need much higher performance than before. It's not like the performance we needed for archiving system and also for backup system. We really need much higher performance system with scale-out, that kind of architecture. For example, the bandwidth needed to be improved by 100 times. And also, the IOPS needed to be improved by 1,000 times. One example we have is in Ruijin Hospital, which is a famous hospital in Shanghai. The image file needed to be visited simultaneously by more than 1,000 patients and doctors, which really we need very high performance scale-out storage in that kind of case. Certainly, more and more unstructured data need a cost-effective system to make sure we could have reliability with the data but on the other hand, not really increasing the budget too much. Therefore, more technologies needed to be adopted in the system. For example, advanced data reduction and coding, that kind of scheme. And also stacking technology in the chipset making. We will start to use die-on-board, that kind of technology, in our disk using semiconductor. Then to keep increasing the density in the whole system. On the other hand, the SSD disk, we understand there's a controller there, but the controller also needs more computational resource. Therefore, it becomes computational disk. For example, the compression, the encryption, these kind of progress can be executed in those disks. We have very interesting product called a super encoding adapter. Using that kind of adapter, 1 TB could be equivalent to 3 TB in video, that kind of scenario. Today, by generating more new data, we also have a problem about data gravity. Today, a lot of data has been stored in different places physically. How can we organize them and also scheduling them just like in one place? We really need a data fabric technology embedded into data storage. In Huawei, we have a software called Global Filing System, GFS. Using this kind of data fabric technology, we can organize those data, even they are located in different places physically. One example is with China Mobile, their big data system. China Mobile learning their business and big data over the whole country. The data has been generated in different places and certainly being stored there. Using our data fabric technology, all these data can be organized just like stored in one equipment and support the upper layer software for data mining. At last, new resilience. Traditionally, the data storage has been used to prevent physical damage for data. And now we can see more and more human factor, that kind of data damage happening everywhere. So we really need more cybersecurity, that kind of functionality be embedded into storage to make sure the data storage could have proactive defense. We understand the IT infrastructure is layered in structure. Therefore, different kind of protection should happening and executed in different layers, in network layer, in application layer, etc. However, we definitely need cyber, that kind of functionality, embedded in data storage as last line for defense. This is the must. 30 years ago, because of database, we start to have SAN, that kind of storage. And then 20 years ago, because of internet, which need file sharing, and then we start to have NAS storage. And then virtualization, cloudification, big data, and AI. Those kind of new applications generating new type of data with bigger amount, and also the demand of needing new resilience requirement, really driving the whole data storage industry moving forward. In last year, in 2022, the amount of shipping data storage for top 5 global vendor reached 11 EB, which is 3 times than that happened in 2012. Think about what the number will be 10 years later which is in 2032. I personally believe the number will reach more than 10 times, which means beyond 100 EB, and very quickly to reach YB that kind of level. Therefore, we certainly believe data storage is a promising industry. Today, I really try to use this opportunity, also appreciate our customers and also partners and our engineers. We have been working together to make sure Huawei data storage start to be recognized worldwide. Our primary storage and scale-out storage and backup storage have been chosen as best choice, customer choice, selected by Gartner. And also, the Huawei storage growth rate outside of China is #1 globally, which is quite good. However, we still need to work together to facing challenges coming from new application, new data, and a new resilience. Let's work together and moving forward to YB era. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peter Zhou, for sharing insights about the continuous evolution of data storage. Now I would like to invite Mr. Thomas Willard, Head of EWS and EOS Technology Solutions, who will give a speech entitled Superior IS Platform, Changing Finances for the Better.
Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas. I'm the head of EWS at EOS. We are a technology company based in Hamburg, and I am the head of the private cloud platform, which we operate for all our European operations. Today, I'm going to share a story about how our Huawei products has helped us accelerate business ideas and enable IT innovation at EOS. First, a quick overview of the EOS Group. We are a financial group based in Hamburg, Germany. We are present in 24 countries around the world, primarily in Europe. And in those countries where we don't have any presence, we have a lot of partners also, so we are basically available all over the globe. We have more than 6,000 employees. Most of them are based in Hamburg also. In Europe. What do? We offer a wide range of financial services. We do various forms of receivables management. We do debt collection. We buy non-performing loans. We help customers free up liquidity for their good-performing loans, for example. We are part of the Otto Group, which is also a Hamburg-based global retail platform. Over the years, we have built up a lot of knowledge, a lot of business data for successful use cases, a lot of metrics of what is working and what is not working for us. And we use all this data to build AI tools, so we can employ these tools for our customers and for ourselves to drive business or to improve our business application stack through data-driven decisions. All that data needs some infrastructure. I'm going to share a little story about our journey, or part of our journey. The short version is that we had a lot of growth at EOS, so we, as the IT, were struggling to keep up with the business requirements. So we had to think about what we can do differently. So we came up with a concept for an internal IT platform. And the Huawei core systems we use played a vital part of that success. We had two problems. First problem was performance and stability. Our infrastructure at that point were not able to keep up with the new demands. A lot of new projects has been started, and sometimes our infrastructure would simply get overwhelmed with too much load, too many I/O requests. On top of that, we also had 2 different SAN vendors, which added an additional layer of complexity, and this would reduce our transparency and would hinder us in our ability to understand where our root causes were. So it was generally not a good solution for our SAN system at that time. The second challenge we had was more in the area of people and processes. All that rapid growth has, of course, spawned increased demand for infrastructure products, mainly virtual servers. At that time, we had a request process which involved that teams and projects were required to raise a ticket whenever they wanted new infrastructure, and then they would wait for an expert to grab that ticket and do whatever was necessary to fulfill the request. Whenever humans are involved, they also make mistakes. So on top of of the long waiting times, we also had some quality issues, and they were further increased by us having to firefight SAN problems, as I mentioned before on the earlier slide. So all in all, IT was not in a good place. We were being the bottleneck for many business projects. So something had to be done, of course. In all companies, the IT should work closely with the business to promote business ideas and create business value. And EOS is no exception to this. So in that in mind, we formulated this simple vision. It's pretty simple, but still important to put it on paper and speak it out loud. At EOS, all our services and all our products, they are defined and also implemented by IT. So by improving the IT performance, we could simultaneously also improve our business performance. So it was sort of a win-win. We wanted to create a platform where stakeholders, projects, and teams, they could consume IT services at their own pace, at their own time, and not having to wait for the slow ticket request system which we had. And we wanted to offer as much self-service as possible. The first decision we made was to increase the storage capacity of our Huawei storage systems, and also to remove our other SAN vendor. We chose to keep Huawei because we were pretty happy with the products at that time, and they were not causing any problems. Our problems, they were elsewhere. So we kept Huawei, and we got rid of the other SAN vendor, and this reduced complexity for us, and it also resulted in significant budget savings along the way. The second decision was to build an internal IT platform. At that time, we had some contractual obligations at EOS and also some financial regulations, which meant that we couldn't use public cloud services. So in order to give our stakeholders a similar experience, we decided to build our own private cloud on a smaller scale. This is a high-level overview of the AWS platform at the moment. These are the most important building blocks. All our services are consumable by REST APIs, and some also have a web UI to use, and we have written everything ourselves. At the heart of it all are our data storage systems from Huawei. For S3 storage, we use the Pacific solution, and for block storage, we use the Dorado solution from Huawei. These two systems contain all the critical data for us and our customers, so it's very important to us, of course, and it's very important that we keep the data safe at all times. The next slide zooms into the Dorado component in our architecture. All our data are mirrored in an active way between our 2 Hamburg data centers, and they can be consumed by our 2 main compute services, virtual servers, and our container solutions with Kubernetes. This architecture also ensures quick failover in case of any local failures. And it's probably an architecture which many of you know because it's pretty standard. Our platform has now been running for a few years. It's been handling almost all of the critical workloads at EOS. It has matured over the years, especially in stability, but also in feature set. Gone are the days where we have to struggle with putting out fires every week. So now we can concentrate on improving the platform any further and offer better and more services for our stakeholders. These are a few screenshots of the services we offer. And naturally speaking, we can't keep up with the feature sets which we know from the public cloud providers. But what we can do is that we can build custom features which are tailored specifically to our stakeholders, so we can fulfill their requirements and their wishes. This is something where the public cloud providers can never do. So this is our EOS version of customer centricity. As mentioned earlier, we choose Huawei because of the technical quality and the high value proposition. What we discovered was that Huawei takes their slogan of customer-centric quite seriously. The people we have met so far at Huawei, they are extremely passionate about what they do. At one time, we had some serious issue in our CERN infrastructure, and we reached out to Huawei for help. And we quickly got in contact with the aftercare team, and they were able to help us solve the issue before it turned into a bigger issue. Later, we learned that the Huawei employee who helped us was on his way in another direction, but he quickly rearranged his travel plans to turn back and assist us on site in Hamburg, which was very valuable, of course. This is not something which we have seen from other vendors so far, at least. Another time, we had an issue with our 100D storage system, which needed a capacity upgrade. The successor didn't have a critical encryption feature, which was important to us. But together with the Huawei sales and technical consulting teams, we found a pretty good solution for our encryption requirement. The new solution was based on the Huawei Pacific product and had a better feature set, double the storage capacity, and compared to our previous solution, a very competitive price. On top of that, Huawei offered to do most of the migration work for us, so all in all, it was an offer we couldn't refuse. As far as we can see, Huawei takes a full holistic approach of us as a customer. The technical consulting teams, they don't just draft one solution, which we can then choose to buy or not buy. They present us with multiple solutions, and we can then evaluate the pros and cons of those solutions, and that's very important for us in our decision making. The post-sales teams, which I mentioned earlier, are so committed to the mission that they jump in the next train from Berlin to Hamburg to help us. And last but not least, the sales contact, who considers his role more than just selling us one solution and then moving on to the next customer, and then disappearing. Salco is always available for us for any question we might have or bouncing off ideas, so this is something which we really appreciate. Thank you, Salco. No, go on. This is some of the Huawei products we've been using since 2017. So what's next for us at EOS? We live in a world where IT requirements are changing at a fast pace. Most of you can probably relate to that. It's often difficult to keep up. Things are moving too fast. For example, today at EOS, public cloud providers are now allowed, and some stakeholders and some teams are moving workload to the public cloud. And who knows, tomorrow they might move back. And as we move from a solely on-premise IT model to a more hybrid model, there are probably bound to be a lot of new challenges which we don't know about yet. And this is why it's more important than ever for us to have a strong partner on our side. And in that context, we're very happy to work together with Huawei in tackling the critical IT issues of the future. When I got invited to speak here at this event, my initial thought was, I really don't know much about our Huawei systems. I don't know many details, actually. After thinking about that, I realized, oh, that's because my data center team are able to solve any operational issue directly with Huawei. So it's very seldom that I need to be involved as an escalation point or something like that. When I'm involved with Huawei, it's to talk about the future, it's to talk about improvement. So for me personally, that's of course a very positive experience. So to wrap everything up, in a few words, we came for the excellent technology and for its cost effectiveness, but we stayed for the customer experience. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas Willard, for your wonderful presentation. Next, let's invite Mr. Shahin Kurt, Technology and Cloud Solutions Leader of Sabancı DX. He will give a speech about building next-generation innovative solutions for digital transformation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to IDI Forum, Huawei's IDI Forum in Munich. It's really an honor to be here. Today, I will try to explain building next-generation innovative solution for digital transformation and how to adapt your organizations. Actually, I will not tell you about innovative solutions and technologies itself. I will talk more about conceptual facts based on my experience. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Shahin Kurt. I have 25 years experience in IT industry and mostly worked for international technology companies like Deutsche Telekom and IBM. For 15 years of this experience was spent as enterprise IT architect. And last 2 years, I have been working as technology and cloud solutions leader at Sabancı DX. Actually, Sabancı DX story starts in 1975 with BIMSA, almost a century ago. BIMSA established as an internal IT company of one of the biggest holdings in Turkey. As you can see, there are lots of achievements during years, but I'm not going to mention about whole story, but I need to mention about last 2 years. The most important achievement in 2022, we established a global brand as DXPV with the aim of globalization. In Netherlands, actually, and DXPV became an umbrella company, and Sabancı DX became a subsidiary of this company. Afterwards, we made some investments for some emerging technology companies like SAM. SAM is a digital marketing company, which is the biggest partner of Google in Turkey. ReadyFlow is UK-based OT security company. They have their own unique products and solutions on OT security industry. Another one is Bultistan. Bultistan is very important for us. It's the biggest local cloud company in Turkey, but now expanding to other countries in UK, Netherlands, Dubai, and also Azerbaijan. And the last one is ZKI. ZKI is AI and NLP-based chatbot company. As a result, we are focusing enablement of digital transformation in the digital economy by embracing digital sustainability. Actually, digital transformation is not just about implementing technology. It's about reimagining the business to leverage the power of digital technology to achieve the strategic objectives. It's about creating new opportunities, enhancing customer experiences, and improving operational efficiency. I'm going to mention about 4 key areas of next-generation innovative solutions for digital transformation: customer centricity, emerging technologies, agility, and innovation culture. Sorry. Let's talk about customer centricity. An innovative solution should address customer requirements and business problems. As I mentioned before, I have 25 years experience in the IT industry with several roles, actually. But in the last 15 years, I have been interested in what customers require and what business problem they encounter. This slide shows the result of my experience about what customers want in today's digital age. There are lots of requirements which come from the customers. In today's digital age, customers expect a seamless, personalized experience across all touchpoints. That's why it's critical to design solutions that meet their needs and expectations. To achieve this, we need to start by understanding the customer's needs and preferences. Then we can design solutions that provide personalized experiences and make their lives easier. This includes leveraging technologies such as custom data platforms, predictive analytics, and personalization engines. Another topic is emerging technologies. The digital age is characterized by the rapid evolution of emerging technologies such as AI, 5G, IoT, serverless computing, NLP, and many more. These technologies are changing the way we do business and providing new opportunities to improve our processes and create new business models. By leveraging these technologies, we can gain new insights into customer behavior, automate processes, and create new revenue streams. It's critical to stay up to date with emerging technologies and experiment with the new solutions to see what works for the business. In Sabancı DX, we have created a new model. In our business model, we combined emerging technologies with managed services and created the concept of everything as a managed services. Our concept represents delivering various services, products, and solutions over the hybrid cloud infrastructure. Everything as a managed services can encompass a wide range of software applications to infrastructure platform, components, and their managed services. As an IT architect, we like to work with building blocks, and here are our building blocks of everything as a managed services model. Third concept is agility. In today's fast-paced digital world, it's critical to be able to quickly respond to changing market conditions and customer needs. To do this, we should adopt an agile approach to solution development. This includes agile methodologies such as Scrum or Kanban, implementing DevOps practices to improve collaboration between development and operation teams, and leveraging cloud infrastructures to quickly scale up or down the solutions. Our agile delivery model approach prioritizes flexibility, collaboration, and customer satisfaction. We merged the traditional delivery model with agile methodologies, emphasizing iterative progress, which we named continuous transformation, continuous operations, and continuous automation. Our agile delivery model is an iterative, daily, weekly, and monthly operation with a separate technical operations owner team. Their focus is emerging iterative operation, works on removing daily and weekly operation barriers from the operations. And finally, let's talk about innovation culture. Innovation is not just about technology. It's also about mindset. To create a culture of innovation, we should foster an environment that encourages creativity, experimentation, and risk-taking. This includes providing employees with the right tools and resources to innovate, creating a culture of continuous learning, recognizing and rewarding innovative ideas and solutions. If we're talking about innovation, I need to mention about our innovative solution and partnership with Huawei. While we are making investment on cloud technology company and services, we identified some improvement areas during technical due diligence. One of the most important areas was storage infrastructure. We had to replace current storage solutions to increase availability, performance, and quality of service. While we are making the investments, Huawei showed very superior performance in this regard with the interest they showed. They supported us throughout the whole study while creating solutions, organizing POC. In particular, the availability and the performance POC results was very high. These outputs convinced us to place a Huawei storage solution in our cloud infrastructure. Now we strengthen our partnership by increasing our storage investment in Turkey and other countries where we expand our cloud infrastructure. I really want to thank all colleagues in Huawei for their support so far. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Shahin Kurt, for sharing your illuminating experience. Next, let's welcome Mr. Henry Aguda, President and CEO of Union Digital Bank, to deliver a speech entitled The Digital Banking Evolution, Navigating the Landscape and Staying Ahead.
Good morning. Morning, Munich. So I'm Henry Aguda. I work for a bank in the Philippines. I was asked by Huawei to share the fantastic things that we've been doing in my country and the fantastic results that we've been seeing. So I joined the bank off of my 90% career in the telecoms industry. So the story was they needed somebody outside of the industry to change banking. And as a telecoms professional, you know what they say, right? And most of you are from the telecoms industry would say, your digital evolution is only as good and as fast as your digital infrastructure. So what did I do? Being in the telco industry, I've been working with Huawei, transforming telecoms infrastructure. So I invited them to transform the enterprise infrastructure of the banking industry. And these are some numbers. These are actual numbers from reduction of CapEx over the years. It has gone down to 40%. But more than that, the results in terms of the stability of our infrastructure, our branches and our campus networks used to only have 70% availability. That's the state of telecoms in our country. You have to buy 2, 3 providers, fiber cuts, fiber degradation. We were the first to do software-defined network infused with AI that allowed us to even tell the telcos when fiber degradations are going to happen, proactively changing links. We've gone up from 70% to 91%. But the data center, I was talking to Bill yesterday, I said 100% is doable because we saw that in Huawei. So now that the infrastructure's been done, what's next? We did this.
Sorry. We are sorry.
Sorry. I guess the whole video went out. Okay, such is digital evolution. There are glitches along the way. So, story of this clip is my shareholder said, "Hey, you're sure that our infra's already done?" I said, "Yes. Put your money where your mouth is." And this went viral. Do I click? So this went viral, and for about a year, I was called the sorriest man in banking. I guess, oh, didn't play. Anyway, that's a video clip of me going on national TV apologizing for the traditional banking that customers experience. Yes, I know what you're thinking. You're the CTO. Why go on camera? Hey, what do I have to lose? So banking in the Philippines 6 years ago, you have to go to a branch, you have to look for an ATM, and hey, you have to sign a check. And we said those are the biggest complaints of customers. The same service channels that they get their banking services from are the ones they complain the most. So what did we do? We digitized, having infrastructure done. We put everything on an app. And guess what? After my sorry video appeared for about a year, the market rewarded us. Our app went from 2 million customers during the time of the sorry video to now 12 million customers. It's the biggest banking app in my country right now. And yeah, we're doing good business, so much so that we've embarked on several other initiatives. Blockchain, we're the first Philippine bank and also in the ASEAN region to offer blockchain services for cross-border payment among 120 rural banks in my country. We are undergoing regulatory approval to use NFT and other digital assets for loan collaterals. Why not? They have value. Well, they will have value. And we're the first to do pay-to-earn gaming. There are about 4 million customers in the Philippines that do play-to-earn gaming. Again, they will make value once it cycles back again next year. But all of them are with the hopes that we become the first metaverse bank, at least in my country. But we're not stopping there. So emboldened by the fact that the market has received digital transformation very well, we've created 2 new banks. So this is the pyramid of our market segments in the Philippines. We have around 110 million people, and about 50 million of them are addressable banking clients. So I mentioned we're now between 11 to 12 million customers. That's mostly top of the pyramid. And when you go into an advocacy of financial inclusion, you have to go down base of the pyramid. So we established City Savings Bank. Again, built on the infrastructure that we built on Union Bank. It's now the biggest motorcycle financing company in our country, as well as the biggest provider for uniformed and civilian employees of government. Then, most recently, people have been asking me, why did you put up your own digital bank, Union Digital? So people have some branding issues with having Union Bank as the best digital bank in my country, and still, we bidded for one of the 6 digital licenses. So Union Digital, which is my baby right now, aims to resolve that bottom of the pyramid, which is around 25 million addressable market, the unbanked, the underbanked, the ones you have to bring into financial inclusion. And I guess I cannot belabor the point anymore. When you go down market, all the more your economics have to be right. Otherwise, you'll lose your shirt. Over the years, this has been our engagement with Huawei. Actually, we started as early as 2018, and we've carried on our partnership from changing our network infrastructure, because during that time, I always am known in my country as a public cloud advocate. I mean, name it, I'll move all my data centers out and move them to the cloud. Well, that was 6 years ago. So I'm here now because I think it's time to reverse course. But before that, we started doing partnerships with Huawei, from changing our network to even creating the first Union Bank Innovation Smart Huawei campus in our country. In fact, no less than the president of our country inaugurated that campus. So you walk in there, visual analytics to the idea hubs, to network, to drones, all Huawei, except for the solar panels. We went with another one there, but you're a very close second to that one. But all the digital part, Huawei. And now we're excited because you know the trend. And most of you who've gone SaaS or have gone cloud, you're tired of the complex economics of committed rates, on demand. It's just getting funkier. When I started moving compute and storage to the cloud, it's an easy computation. And guess what? I get discounts every month. You know the story. Now it's getting complicated. SaaS providers embed cloud infra in their offering. And by the way, some of you may experience this soon because SaaS providers have in their contract their ability to pull the plug, so to speak, because they could pull the plug not just on the application, but on the resources as well. We've experienced some situations like that in my country. Also, the fact that data privacy, cybersecurity is now becoming a B2B2C concern. So how does storage become relevant to your end customer? If you can assure them that you're ransomware protected, your privacy by design, your zero trust, you're encrypted on the core, customers in my country now understand that. Aside from the fact that sheer physics, if you really want to comply with Scope 1, stop limiting the power usage. So suddenly, it has turned on its head. We're now collaborating with Huawei to develop a much stronger storage profile for our 3 banks. And I think it's time we come down from the cloud and maybe go on-premise. This is how we progress with our partnership with Huawei. It's a 7-year partnership where we've gotten not just business success, but recognition from around the world. We've been best digital bank in Asia, ASEAN, and my country for 4 years to 5 years in a row. Anywhere from innovation in blockchain to metaverse, to network, and to optimization in terms of bringing as many people in the financial industry. In fact, we were voted one of the 4 most helpful banks during the pandemic. Because when the pandemic hit, it was a good thing. It was one of those lucky situations where our networks were already running. We immediately can work from home. Our customers can immediately bank from wherever they are. And luckily, the adoption of our customers has progressed up to this day. And our next baby is Union Digital. And we're excited because not only will grow it to 11 to 12 million, bottom of the pyramid is 25, and the economics of growing that has to be spot on. Our unit economics has to be better than the unit economics in the cloud, because we're going to be a cost-sensitive provider. Just to give you an idea, we launched this only this year, and we've gone from a few thousand customers to now 500,000 customers. At the trajectory that we're in, we expect to have close around 20 million customers by end of 2 years. And I'm happy to announce that there are 400 digital banks in the world. Some of you who are in banking would know this. Only 20% of them make money because it's expensive to run. And of those 20%, it takes them an average of 2.5 years to make money. Having a cost-effective infrastructure, we expect to break the record. The record is about 1.5 years to make money. We're on track. Hopefully, I don't say a story video anymore once we cross the year. But that's our story. It's fitting that I end with an expression of gratitude because I started with an apology in my video. So, Dr. Peter, on behalf of the Filipino community, where there's a lot of my compatriots here, Huawei team, Huawei management, thank you for inviting us, sharing, and learning from this innovation. And to all of you, thank you for listening and forgiving me for the video. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Henry Aguda, for giving us a glimpse of Union Bank's digital experience. Next, we'll have Mr. Mark Acton, who is a senior data center consultant, to share valuable thoughts about data center sustainability.
Good morning. Hope you're having a great conference. So I'm here to talk through a little bit of a journey, talking about the code of conduct in Europe and how that's evolved into regulation across Europe. And actually beyond that, how the regulation in Europe is probably going to affect other jurisdictions, countries around the world. There's an ongoing debate, and I think Europe's leading the way in this. So again, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey. So what's the code of conduct? This is a bit of a starting point. So back in 2008, it was decided by a few experts in the data center industry that we try and come up with a set of best practices to help with data center energy efficiency. As we all know, data center energy efficiency and the consumption of electricity by data centers is an issue. It's an issue for governments. Governments are looking at it. It's an issue for the media. You know, we're being beaten up a little bit by the media in terms of our energy consumption. There's an argument that we're using about 1.5% of global energy production. That figure may be true, it may not. And I think it's about 3% in total for digital infrastructure generally, and those two numbers are often confused. About 1.5% for data centers. So again, code of conduct back in 2008, first government set of published guidelines for data center energy efficiency best practices. And it's free to download. Anybody can download it, anybody can gain access to it, anybody can use it, and based on the fact that it's actually a tried and tested set of best practices, it will save you energy and it will save you money in your data center if you choose to apply it. Not only does it talk about the power, the cooling, all the traditional things, it also talks about the IT side of things as well. So it really is a bit of a comprehensive guide. And again, I'm going to repeat this, it's free to download. Go and use it. There is actually a scheme associated with it. You don't have to use the scheme. There's a reporting scheme. And the idea is that this is designed to collect data over time to try and better understand the industry in Europe. If you do choose to abide by the scheme, you get to use one of these logos. There's a participant logo. If you're an operator or owner of data centers, you can be a participant and record your energy usage over an annualized period. If you're an endorser, such as Huawei, a manufacturer of equipment, supplier of equipment to the industry, you can endorse the code of conduct and you can carry the logo as an endorser. Moving on, couple of key items on the code of conduct. And again, this is the start of a journey. This isn't the end of the journey by any means. It is updated every year. The 2023 version was released in February this year. It's available from this URL, and I think you will get these slides later on, so feel free to go and have a look at this document. Key thing, though, here, really key thing, is the best practices that are incorporated in the Code of Conduct are actually now incorporated in a true standard, a European standard. You may or may not have heard of it. It's called EN 5600, you know, the kind of thing you're going to remember, obviously. But it is out there. It is a published European standard, and I'll come more onto what that really means as we go through this journey. Key point being, though, these practices are now part of a published international standard. More than that, they're actually being incorporated into a document that you can see here, 5600 5-1, which is a auditable document. Now that's key. That's key because we know that governments are keen to look at our industry and potentially regulate. So more on that as we go through. The taxonomy, the EU taxonomy and CSRD. The taxonomy is merely a set of requirements for reporting that are specific to specific industries, the data center industry being one of those. So what the taxonomy does effectively is describe what you should be reporting on and how you should be reporting for a particular type of industry, and again, in this case, data centers. The CSRD, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, uses the taxonomy for its reporting requirements. The taxonomy itself references the Code of Conduct. So again, you can see where this trail's going. CSRD is a non-financial reporting directive. So NFRD was something that all corporates above a certain size were required to report on. So again, non-financial reporting. CSRD builds on that and puts in the sustainability element. What that really means is that you are going to have to report, if you're in the data center industry and you have a revenue of more than 150 million euros in Europe, you are going to have to report against these requirements. That doesn't mean that you have to be a European-based business. It means that you have operations in Europe. So you can be based anywhere in the world. If you've got operations in Europe related to data centers, more than 150 million, you're in this scheme. The reporting period for next year, is for next year, for the previous 12 months. So we're talking about reporting in June 2024 for the period starting June 2023. So this is on us. As I keep saying, the train is in the tunnel and coming towards us. Not many people are actually aware that this even is the case. Now, how efficiently is this going to be checked? Debatable. The one key thing, though, is that while the Commission may not be checking this in the first few months or the first few years, what will happen is that any sustainable fund will be required by the Commission to look at the audited results of this reporting. And if you don't have it, you will not get sustainable funding. So the way the Commission are going to police this is basically by reducing your access to cheap funding. Interesting point. Whether that applies to companies outside Europe looking in and looking at European sustainable funding is open to debate. The key point about CSRD, though, one of the interesting points, and the reason I'm going to go on to some slides later, is the reporting requirements are based on international standards, ISO standards. So ISO being the International Standards Organization who create 9,000, 27,000, 50,000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many people aren't aware that there are data center sustainability metrics published by ISO. Worth knowing because you're going to have to report against them very shortly. So, a different DG in Europe is also working on the EED, the Energy Efficiency Directive. Completely separate DG, completely separate set of reporting, but nonetheless, data center reporting requirements. The EED will require reporting for any data center with an IT load of more than 500 kilowatts. So that's going to capture a lot of people that currently are below the radar. It will also require the creation of a national database of all data centers. So national databases across Europe for all data centers with more than 500 kilowatts of IT load. So again, you're going to get caught in this, without any question. As I said earlier, this is based on standardized ISO metrics. The final stakeholder meeting for the EED is on the 15th of June this year. That's the final of 3 meetings. Thereafter, this will be published later this year. Again, you're going to get caught up in this. So, I mentioned the sustainability metrics. What are they? Here you go. Here is the ISO 30134 series. It's a little bit dry. I'm not going to walk you through it. But the really key thing here is that some of you may have heard of a metric called PUE. Governments are starting to measure us on it. The Dutch government, or Amsterdam actually is, and Frankfurt are saying, you have to have a certain PUE for your data center, otherwise you can't build it by design. PUE actually isn't an efficiency metric. It's used as a proxy. It's not really that good for efficiency. In fact, it doesn't really cover efficiency at all. But what you have got in this series is other things as well. So we talk about energy reuse. Again, increasingly in Europe, we are going to be mandated to reuse heat from data centers, so-called waste heat from data centers. There's a metric here for measuring it. Renewable energy factor. How much renewable energy are you actually using in your data center? What proportion of the energy you're using is actually sustainable and renewable? So I'm not going to go through all of these. You can see it for yourself. Probably one that's worth mentioning, actually, water. There's a big debate about water usage in data centers and just the degree to which we're consuming potable water in particular. So again, there's a metric here to measure it. The really interesting thing, and I think one of the smart things that the Commission have done, is actually base their reporting requirements on standardized metrics. So we're going to get a level playing field. And something that one of the Commission policy officers said to me is that it took us 15 years to regulate the glass-blowing industry. Glass-blowing, what's that got to do with data centers? Well, absolutely nothing, obviously. But nonetheless, they had no idea how many glass-blowing factories or how much energy the glass-blowing industry was using. It took them 15 years to regulate it. We are in the same position. The difference is we're at the start of this journey. So they are on our case. It will happen. It will become more and more regulated, almost certainly. This is the start of a journey. As they collect more data, they'll be looking more closely. So be aware. 5600, I mentioned this, and one of the reasons I mentioned 5600 is that its impact beyond Europe, ironically. It's a European standard, it is a standard, and therefore it's an international standard, but its impact beyond Europe. 5600, produced by Senelec, as I've said here, etc., etc. You can read that for yourselves, I'm not going to go through it. But the really key thing about 5600, it is the basis for a true ISO international standard reflecting data centers. And the reason I say this is largely because Europe is leading in this area right now. But we know other governments tend to follow suit. They tend to see what's going on in a particular region, they see what people are doing, they see what's happening, they see how effective it is, and what they do is often follow suit. So I know that in the US, they're looking at this very, very closely. They will be coming up with something very similar. Won't be the same, it'll look similar, it'll have the same sort of impact, it'll be based on the same sort of criteria, and it will be based, whatever they do is going to be based on those ISO metrics that you've just seen. And I think, again, the point about 5600 is that Europe are very much taking the lead on this. Others will follow. And the point being, this is the 5600 standard that Europe are developing. Again, you can get the slides on this. Don't bother to have a look. It's all there. It's available. The key thing about this particular slide, though, is if you notice, the European standard, the 5600 standard, also references the ISO metrics, the ISO sustainability metrics. So what's happening is you're getting a combination, a dovetailing of these international standards, all of which are starting to reference each other. And I think, as we all know in the data center industry, there's a great deal of uncertainty about how much energy we're consuming, how many data centers there are. This standardized reporting will produce a much more level playing field. It'll produce a much greater depth of understanding about how the industry works and what we're actually doing. So again, big dovetail here. And if we go beyond that, if we go beyond the 5600 standard, we are actually developing a true ISO standard. It's going beyond Europe. It's going beyond the European region. It's actually going international. So what we're finding now is that the standards community, particularly around data centers, are getting much more cohesive. You'll have heard about things like Uptime Institute standards, TIA standards, tiers, levels, whatever. What we've got now coming up, and this is the final slide, what we've actually got is a true international ISO-based standards for data centers. This is the future. This is where it's going to go. If you're thinking about certification for your data center in the future, this is probably going to have to be on the radar, because no longer have we got these competing standards or non-standards in some cases. This is something that will be global. It'll be across the entire industry. You can see it's actually in the process of being published at the moment. 2021 was the last release. The rest will be released this year. And once they're all released, I think you'll see much more focus on this. So again, Europe's leading the way in this. We are leading the way. We're pushing forward. There is a great deal of internationalization going on in this. There's a great deal of more reporting required. Governments are taking a serious view on this. The media is giving us a lot of pressure. We need to explain to the media how we're doing what we're doing and why we're doing it, and that, ideally, the preventative elements that we're creating in our industry rather than just the consumptive elements. Watch this space. As I said, the train is in the tunnel. It's coming towards us. The lights are glowing. Some of you in this room may or may not have been aware that these reporting requirements are coming out, but the reality is they're on us now. So it's happening. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of either a warning or a briefing to just look out for what's coming and what you may need to be doing. I know there's no time for questions, but if you do want to ask any questions, I'm free for the rest of the day. I'll be floating around, certainly at lunch, so feel free to come and put me on the spot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mark Acton, for your great presentation. Today, we invited an NGO group named Polar Hub to share the topic Ice Core, Memory of the Earth with us. Now, let's watch a short video about it first.
A glacier is, so to speak, a very detailed climate history book. Memory of Glaciers is the name given to this project. It is initiated by Polar Hub, an NGO that tackles with climate change through scientific expedition and scientific communication. It has thus completed many scientific exploration projects in Antarctica, Arctic areas, and Qing Tibetan Plateau. Undertaking the Memory of Glaciers project is in fact a process where we bring glaciers, and especially the current melting of glaciers, to the attention of more people. Because in the future, these glaciers may become but memories of the past. The Memory of Glaciers project aims on conducting protective ice core rescue drilling operations. An ice core is a vertical column of ice and continuously drilled out at a specific point on a glacier. The length of an ice core can vary from tens of meters to hundreds or even thousands of meters. An ice core is essentially a diary of past climate environmental change. The deeper it goes, the more climate information it has preserved. We may then predict future climate change, to drill these low-altitude glaciers on the verge of extinction, and build an ice core bank as a rescue measure. This makes good sense. As scientific explorers, it is undoubtedly our responsibility to save the memory of the Earth, keep it safe until one day, when the next generation of scientists reopen this history book using new ideas and technologies. Save the glaciers, save memories of the Earth. Memories of the Glaciers.
Let's welcome Ms. Zhao Zhao Hu, founder and chairman of Polar Hub, and Rigmor Christian Johnson, project advisor, coordinator of Arctic Affairs of Polar Hub, to give the speech.
Good morning, Earth beings. Good morning, fellow Earth citizens. I am a descendant of Vikings, born in Norway. I was given the name Rigmor. Like Zhao Zhao, I am a mom. You are maybe a mom or dad too. All of us are a part of that human web of relationships. Zhao Zhao and I are both passionate about the natural world, the outdoors, and snow.
Yes, we are passionate about the water and the ice too. Hi, my name is Zhao Zhao, an explorer from China, co-founder of Polar Hub. As the name suggests, Polar Hub is invested in the extremes of our planet. The Arctic, Antarctic, and the third pole, that is the mountains of the Tibetan Plateau. The regions are covered by snow, ice, and glaciers. Regions of so-called crossosphere. Innovative data in structure, new data, new apps, new resilience. This is the calling of your forum here in Munich. Indeed, I dare say, the shared home planet of ours, Earth, is full of innovative data infrastructures as part of evolution of life.
Yes, Zhao Zhao, you brought the Polar Hub video everyone saw about ice cores on a little data memory stick. A photographer's pictures, this postcard from my trip to Antarctica in 2012. They all store data. Maps developed by explorers and cartographers over the ages. Maps tell stories too. All are data-based. This cup, carved of wood with visible rings, a biologist analyzing it would, apart from seeing and reading growth climate conditions in the tree rings, would no doubt also find signals from coffee pleasures from my hiking in Norwegian woods. Zhao Zhao, nature has always been a repository of experience. we can call data. Nature has naturally fostered learning in combinations and in collaborations for species to evolve in natural relationships of togetherness. Organism, environment, togetherness.
Definitely. Earth, or we say soil, also shows information patterns in layers. Water too. When stored as or snow or ice in glaciers. Glaciers always thrill me with their majestic process when I go mountaineering. Glaciers store 80% of the fresh waters on our planet. Ice and the natural glacier landscapes are now on UNESCO's World Heritage List. In fact, glaciers are amazing natural data storage systems. Glaciers store the Earth's memory and serve as her diary through time. Glaciers are formed by the accumulation of the snowfall. If the temperatures permit, if the snow remains and is pressured into ice, then, like with the tree rings or the soil layers, a biogeochemical the history is documented. A natural database is formed, recording the changes in our Earth's past climate and the environment.
Scientists can harvest this data by analyzing the chronically layered column samples of ice, the ice cores you saw being extracted in the film. On the screen, you can see an image of an ice cube. It contains very dense, small bubbles compacted inside the ice that carry information about earlier atmospheric composition. In the lab, findings can provide us with a look into past changes in the atmosphere and into conditions like trends in rainfall, forest fires, temperatures, levels of greenhouse gases, chemical pollutants, and so on. Thus, data can give us a clue about how the climate varies, and they can enable us to predict future changes.
They are just like the notes that make up the music, or the words of the Earth hymns, the story of the Earth over millennia, even millions of years. But, the big but, the Crossphere Report 2022 stated it bluntly on the cover page. We cannot negotiate with the melt point of ice. Our home planet is warming fast. Scientists are calling out the emergency, the urgency, the impact of the climate heating in our cooling system of our planet. The glaciers is very visible. Glaciers are melting at accelerating rate of the speed. Scientists need the data before the glaciers melt away.
We must learn. And each point of learning is also a data point if it is collected, if it is made accessible to scientists, to researchers and learners, if it is put into significant context and analyzed well. Ice data can contribute to knowledge evolution, both for hindsight about past climatic conditions and for foresight, connecting the dots for wiser, more holistic action that is more in tune with our Earth and a future of shared well-being. The facts of change remain. Ice and environment belong together. When the climate heats up, just like the ice cubes in your cool drink on a hot day, the ice transforms, melts, and becomes water. We cannot negotiate with the melting point of ice. Our climate storybooks, written, so to speak, in ice, are in a way being burnt too, just like books, seeds, museums, etc. The stories of destruction of data carriers are rife in history.
When we speak of glaciers as memory, or glaciers as heritage and legacy, the future story will also be a story about the relationship between humans and nature. And it will be connected with the story about the relationship between humans and technology. On that hot day, when ice melts and changes the taste of your drink, maybe your data storage system stops working too. Maybe data is lost. Did it happen to you? Technological data storage also needs cooling.
Data always beckon questions. Why store data? What story can the data tell? Remember these? Maps, pictures, soil, wood, ice. Putting them together can tell other stories. When we can connect the dots at ever higher levels, we can grow deeper interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary knowledge and understanding, and especially if we work together. Collaboration, yes, we need to collaborate because we share this home planet of life.
The great rivers of civilization in Asia, where 60% of the world's population lives. The Indus, the Ganges, the Yangtze River and the Yellow River, the Mekong, and countless other watersheds were fed by the melt waters from the glaciers. The water tower of Third Pole. Biodiversity, human and cultural diversity, livelihoods, it is all interwoven, an interconnected, interdependent system of life that is rooted in the transformation of water into snow and ice, and back into water too.
Why do we, two women, stand here before you today? We are neither glaciologists nor climate scientists, but may we say that we are storytellers in ice and glaciers' stead? May we say that we are concerned Earth citizens, and like many of you, lovers of the great outdoors. Some of you have experiences of glacier mountains, like here in your wonderful Alps. Warming temperatures and snow droughts now take a hard toll on your alpine ice fields. Those playgrounds for daring and invigorating ski adventures are disappearing too. In 2022, the Marmolada Glacier in Italy collapsed. Collapse is a painful, emotional word.
In the film, you met Wenshu at the Third Pole, where mountains reach closer to heaven than anywhere else on Earth. In May 2017, Mountaineer and glaciologist Wen Xu was in the Himalaya at 5,500 meters altitude, carrying a backpack full of monitoring equipment. All of a sudden, he slipped. He slid and fell into the unexpected ice-cold glacial meltwater lake. At 5,500 meters altitude, in May, the scientists are incredulous. Wen Xu's skills were key to his rescue. He got off the backpack and wrenched himself out of the icy water steps. Actually, Wen Xu is the father of 2 little girls. He is my mountaineering partner and my husband. We both felt shock and a new reckoning. We make a decision to share and grow the knowledge and understanding of ice and climate change. Polar Hub was born. A recent UNESCO report stated that 1/3 of the world's iconic glaciers will totally disappear by 2050. Glaciers are becoming a memory in our own day and age. Polar Hub works to drill out the significant ice cores to preserve the Earth's data. As part of the process, we need extra data infrastructure as well. An ice core bank to store the ice cores under good conditions. Polar Hub wants to benefit also the future generations of knowledge builders who may access ice data with questions we today maybe not yet know how to ask.
Our Norwegian fjords were naturally sculpted by ice. Today, only stunning spots of ice caps remain of our last ice age 10,000 years ago. The Arctic is warming fast. Our glaciers, too, are receding fast. A new scientific discipline has even evolved in the melting wake: glacial archaeology. The islands of Svalbard range from 74 to 81 degrees latitude north, not far from the North Pole at 90 degrees north. I first met Wen Xu in 2009. Wen Xu became the first Chinese university student to reach the pole, skiing together with famous polar explorer Børge Ausland across that thin 1.5 meter or so layer of ice floating on the deep Arctic Ocean. This experience changed Wen Xu's focus to exploration and to the science of ice and snow. Svalbard was in the science news again last week. A Guardian article entitled "Svalbard, the Arctic Islands where we can see the future of global heating." The ice drip, drip melts here on this stage in Munich. What then in 7 years' time? That is 2,555 days. What about 2030? 2030 is a global benchmark year for nations around the globe for data on greenhouse gas emissions, on energy solutions, land use, climate governance, and so on.
Ultimately, we are all challenged. How can we be better caretakers of our home planet and of each other? The question remains one of intelligence, but certainly also a question of wisdom and of caring.
To learn or not to learn, and learning and acting together, that is the big question, yes? 人行，必有我师. That is one of my favorite Chinese sayings. When three people walk together, my teacher is always there. We wish each and every one of you an inspiring forum.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zhao Zhao Hu and Rigmor Kristen Johnson, for your fascinating speech. Now, today's keynote is coming to the end. Hope all of you have enjoyed the keynote. See you in the sessions this afternoon. I would like to kindly remind you that the lunch buffet is in the room Taegeunse. Please come back at 2 p.m. to join the breakout sessions. The gala dinner starts at 7 p.m. with band performances and lucky draws. Your feedback is very important to us. Please scan the code to fill in the questionnaire. Please bring all your belongings and leave the auditorium orderly. Thank you for your participation, and see you in the afternoon.